Today, let's talk about whether it's a good idea to buy or rent in today's market. It's a very high interest rate market and prices are at all-time highs, so there's a lot of factors to consider whether you should buy or rent in today's market. Many factors such as whether you have to move due to a new family member such as a baby or a new job. Are you just trying to invest your money? Are you trying to settle down your forever home? There's a lot of different reasons that you have to consider and you have to really think about in this type of situation. Now, there's going to be a lot of emotional versus practical response and reasoning why you buy a home. Sometimes people just want to flex and that they own a home or show off to their family members and friends that they own something. And some people, they need a home because they should be saving up money now as a family, or they need to settle down with their kid and they really want to get into the housing market before prices even get up higher. So there's a lot of different reasons and you have to understand that. If you're on the emotional side and you want to show off to everyone, no one's going to admit that. But if you are thinking like that, really consider other reasons why you want to buy this property. It's very dangerous to go and leverage yourself 97.5% and not be able to afford these properties. Also, there's going to be a lot to home ownership. You should consider a lot of different expenses such as maintenance, HOA, taxes, and other fees like that. And that can add up when you're owning a property. So when you're doing your numbers, really consider those numbers into your math. Now, assuming that you are ready to buy a home and that you have a decent amount of money saved up, you have a savings fund, emergency fund, you have a retirement fund already set up, let's play out these few scenarios that could be the case when you're buying your first property. So this first scenario right here, you're going to see is that the rent is higher than the mortgage. Basically, you're going to be in an area where there's $2,500 a month rent versus $2,000 a month rent. In this type of scenario, it's kind of a no-brainer whether you want to buy or not. You should probably buy a property, especially if you're planning to live there for a while and invest that property out or just make that your forever home, because you're going to be saving money per month, $500, and you get equity each month. After 30 years, that loan's paid off and you own the full property. And the property is probably grown in value too. So in this type of situation, you probably should buy, especially if you're going to be living there for a long time. If you're planning to move out real quick, either consider maybe investing the property out, or not, consider maybe selling it if the values are going up in time too. Now, in the second scenario, you're going to see this a lot more common with the first scenario, like they're going to be in the same market a lot often, where the rent is very similar to the mortgage or they're basically the same. Basically, you're paying $2,500 in rent, $2,500 in mortgage, including all the cost. Now, in this type of scenario, you really have to now decide how long do you want to live there, and do you want to rent this property out later on in life after you move out? Because right now the prices are the same, but maybe in the future that rent will go up. If you're planning to invest, you probably should be hoping that this property in the area you're investing in, that rents are going to go up. Because in the benefit of this situation is that your payments stay stable. When you get a mortgage, especially 30-year fixed mortgage, your payments don't change for those 30 years, but your rent can go up after a couple years due to the market values. So if you're in this type of scenario where the rents are very similar to the mortgage and you're planning to live there for a long time, or you want to invest in that area and you truly believe in that area being a good area and growing, you probably should be buying in this area too, especially because the rents are going to go up and the mortgage payments are going to stay the same. You'll be saving money in the long run. Now, if you're not trying to live in that area for a long time, you're not trying to rent and you're just trying to get out of the area, maybe you should rent, because there's going to be a lot more upfront cost when owning a home in this scenario. You have a down payment to pay off, you have insurance, mortgage, tax, all these type of things that you have to consider when owning a property. And if you're not really trying to be that committed and you just need shelter and you're not sure about the area, then probably renting is going to be your best option in this scenario. But if you're planning to live there for a long time or you're betting on this area, buy a property. Now, in this third scenario, you're going to see this type of scenario a lot in very high affluent areas or like downtowns. One area I could note like this is Midtown Detroit, where the rents are less than the mortgage. Essentially, $1,800 rent versus $3,000 mortgage. In this type of scenario, especially if you're not trying to live there for a long time, you're just trying to live there for some small time for your work and move out, I would probably just rent, because you're going to be saving a lot more money by renting than paying a mortgage off. And there's a lot more different investment tools out there than just real estate investing through your own property. You probably could rent out in this area and then buy a investment property in a different neighborhood, and that can make you money like that. If you're trying to live there for a very long time and you're trying to make this your forever home, you might want to consider buying. Now, this is going to be very depending on how long do you want to live there and how much do you believe in the area. Because sometimes in these areas too, even though the mortgage and rents are higher, sometimes the rents do grow over time and they catch up, and sometimes they surpass the mortgage within that 30-year period, while that mortgage might stay the same. Also, if you're trying to build that forever home and build your family, you're trying to look for a home that you like and you love. And over time, you're going to always build equity in the property, while in renting, you're getting no equity, you're paying 100% interest with renting. So there's always that benefit too. And also, when you own a property, you can control the property. You could do what you want with the property. With the rental, you're at the landlord's whims, whether he's going to fix things, update things, and all these type of things. So you have control of your property. But in this scenario, it's not the most ideal scenario to be in. And if you're in this scenario, you really have to deep think on how much you really want to buy a property in this area, or you probably should just go into a different neighborhood, move there, or just invest into a property in those neighborhoods and just rent out in the neighborhood that you want to live in. I see a lot of people, you'll see this a lot in Midtown, a lot of places in California are like this, where people will have so much money saved up, but it's just properties in $900K average. It's done. It's going to be hard, but you can invest through other ways, such as REITs, stocks, or investment properties. In this scenario, for most people, renting might be the best situation. Only for a few that buying a property might be the better situation for you. Now, let's talk about the housing market and projections. I'm going to be honest, the housing market's going really crazy, and the entire financial system is going crazy right now. We don't know when rates are going to go down. This is May 2nd, while this video is being filmed, on May 1st, Jerome Powell said that rates are not going to be going down, and people are expecting rate cuts either at the end of this year or the next year. In the beginning of 2024, people thought rate cuts were going to happen this summer or this spring. So right now, depending on how inflation goes, we will have to see how these rates go. When the rate cuts happen, real estate is going to go up like crazy. Stocks is going to go up. Crypto is going to go up. Everything is going to go up like crazy. So if you're trying to buy something right now, whether it be real estate or even stocks, you're going to have a better chance at buying a better price right now. Now, in many different markets, such as Florida and out in the western side of the country, you're going to see housing markets are right now going slower. Prices are maybe slightly going down. And that is because they have very high pricing right now, and new construction is more popular in this area. But for Michigan and these type of areas, like in the Midwest, we still have an inventory shortage, and that prices are at all-time highs right now, but they're not super crazy high where it's so far off from the affordability. It's still unaffordable, but a $300K home is still achievable by someone who makes $60 to $70K per year. They just probably have to save way more, and they might not be able to do that 3% down, right? But it's still possible, and you can save up money. But like in some markets where the average price point is $900K, a lot of people can't buy that, and that's where you're going to be seeing those markets drop. If you're trying to invest into real estate as an investment tool right now, interest rates should not be worrying you right now. Obviously, it will make it harder because your monthly payments are harder, and that takes away from your net income. But in the long run, rates can come down, you can refinance them, but the price that you buy it stays the same. And if you're trying to invest in properties, it's still possible to find a deal. The two main things that you really should look for is that the rents are still going to be higher than your monthly cost, that you're going to have a good cash-on-cash return, and if that area is going to grow in the long run. Those are two main factors that you really should look into when buying a property for an investment purpose. Now you may be considering to buy or not. In this type of scenario, you should really talk to your lender. Your lender can give you a pre-approval form, and they can give you a few options and mortgage options that you can use to get into a property. You never know. There might be options for you that you can get into a property with 0% down, with 3% down. You might have to put 20% down with no income. There's all these different types of mortgage options out there, so it's always worth talking to see what you can get out there. If you're also trying to look for a home, you probably should start talking to your realtor. Your realtor can help you with data and research, sending you property data and comps every day. In Michigan, for a fact, I know that Zillow does not give you proper sold data, and it's not all the photos and everything, but your realtor, like me, I can help you get you data like that. Previous sold listings, tax data, I can help you estimate with that stuff. So if you're thinking about it, you should talk to a realtor and a loan officer to see where you're at right now, and we can help you decide whether it's a good idea or not. For many of you, maybe buying might be an option or renting might be an option. It depends on your personal situation and where you're at in life and what you're trying to do with your life. If you are interested in buying or selling your property, or you just want to know more or have any questions, feel free to comment or DM me. My name is Shah, and I'm from the Real Brokerage from Metro Detroit area. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great day.